Hey everybody, sorry it's been just a minute. I have a few videos that I've filmed and would like to upload, but I'd like to go into putting yourself into alignment and what exactly alignment really means, and what does it feel like when you're in alignment. So first question is, what does alignment even mean? And what does it mean to realign yourself to be in harmony with the universal flow? And what that means is that your mind, your body, and your spirit are all working together in harmony, and there is full availability for pranic energy to flow through your, basically like your auric field. But it feels a specific way when you're in alignment. So what I mean by this is that instead of it just feeling like a normal day, it's going to feel as though everything in your life is working in your favor, and it's going to feel like the universe is conspiring to help you to achieve the goals and aspirations of your life. And alignment really means to move in flow with your environment and with your mind and with your whole mental, physical, and emotional. So if you're having discomforts or you're having any kind of feelings of disharmony with yourself or your environment, or you feel as though you're not able to speak with your higher self or receive messages anymore from universal consciousness, or you feel like things are just moving in a direction that is not what you want it to be, there's a few different things that you need to realize. Is, for one, in the grand scheme of things, it's really impossible to be out of universal flow because it is the makeup of everything. So in reality, what you're experiencing is really what you're supposed to be experiencing in that time anyways. And to put yourself back into flow would just mean to, instead of to change the situations, you change the way that you think about the situations. So being in flow does not mean to have everything in your life working out the way that you want it to. It's for you to see everything in your life as being something that is working out for you. So it's about perception, not about your physical reality. It's about the way that you perceive your reality, not the actual reality itself. And this is very important because a lot of people think that they have to make their external reality like a way that they want it to be in order for them to feel satisfaction or happiness or fulfillment or anything like that, when in reality it's actually the opposite. And yet the society has kind of taught people that they need to search for their fulfillment externally from themselves, but that actually brings you more out of alignment with the universal flow. Because what the universe really wants is for you to kind of just accept everything that's presented to you and to learn from it the way that it's kind of presented. So instead of judging it and thinking that like judging whatever catalyst or like whatever external experience is being presented to you, what the universe wants you to do is just to accept it. And then whenever you accept it, what happens is that there's like this layer that's dropped off of it where it's kind of like the innocence of that moment shines through. So when that innocence of that moment starts to shine through, then you can see that even if it seems as though the moment was something of even hatred or malice or anything like that, you can start to see that there's actually universal love that is coming through that moment, and it was your distorted perception that was causing it to actually be something that makes you suffer. So what is it that we can do in order to bring ourselves back into alignment? And a lot of this has to do with interior work in your mind and to really start to see that most of the shit that they've told you in this life has been backwards from what it is to be able to keep you in optimum working order. And the reason why they do this is so that they can keep people in a lower frequency, so that they can more easily control them and get them to do the things that they want them to do, such as manual labor and random things like that, you know, like that basically like slave labor, but you, instead of using actual slaves, they pay them the minimum amount of money that they would be willing to accept for that labor. And then they basically keep people as, you know, wage slaves for their entire lives, because they convince them that that is all that they're worth and that's all that they're able to do. And it's really sad, because we're all beings of infinite worth, and we're all beings of infinite potential as well. So even if just 1% of us linked our minds together and saw our potential, then it would change the entire world. And it's amazing, because it's more infinite than what you think it is. Your potential is as vast as your imagination is. So remember that. Your potential is as vast as your imagination is. So as a kid, a lot of us have been taught that imagination is actually something that is not real, or something that is not meant to be coveted or like sacred, you know, in some sort of way. When in actuality, we're imagining all of this stuff into existence as we are right now. So the more that you can tap into that imaginative kind of state of consciousness, the more that you can tap into that creativity that is behind all of our existence, meaning that creative force that actually creates this whole thing. And to pull yourself back into alignment, there's a few different things that you can do. And I know that's like 7 minutes into the video and I'm just now getting to it, but this is like kind of an important introduction. One of the first things that you need to notice is that your thoughts and the way that you think about reality creates the experiences that you have. So it's important to get your thoughts in line with what you want to do, or like your actions. So basically, like and I know this sounds weird, but like realize how much of a hypocrite you are, and then start to change that, and practice what you preach in a way. And I know a lot of spiritual people kind of have a little bit of trouble doing this, because oh wow, sorry, there's an owl up here. See if you can see it. Sorry, it's very distracting. Very beautiful. Hold on. It's a spirit animal as well. Let's see if we can get a good one. There it goes. What a beautiful creature. Okay, sorry. Anyways, so it's about getting your mind in line with owls. Owls are wisdom and knowledge. So it's very interesting how that kind of came by in the middle of the video. But anyways, so like getting your mind and your body and your spirit in line is really, it's not as hard as you would think it is, but at the same time, it's really only as hard as you want to allow it to be, because the biggest block that keeps you from being in alignment is your own mind and your ways that you think about things, and the way that you interpret things, and the way that you feel about just general wow, it's watching me. The hawk is, I mean the owl is. It's beautiful. It's literally got its eyes right on me. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it up there. It's perched up in the trees. Anyways, sorry, that's exciting for me. I love nature and I love animals. But basically, so physically, the first way that you can get into alignment is to actually come out into nature and to ground yourself, and basically put your bare feet on water. There's a boat passing. Anyways, so you put your bare feet on ground, my bad, not water, and you basically just allow the earth to mingle with your frequency. And the longer that you stay planted on the ground and like with your energy being connected with the earth, the longer that or the more that your energy will start to change. So you'll start to feel a difference, and it starts off as this like kind of relaxation, but like what happens is that when you get into a low frequency, you get stuck in your mind. So when you get stuck in your mind, what happens is that you reminisce and you like redo a bunch of things over and over again, and then you make meanings out of those things, and then you believe those meanings, and then you kind of fall down this like rabbit hole of like continuously trying to make some sort of meaning out of something, and then figuring out what that meaning is, and then making some sort of meaning out of that meaning that you found. And then it's like a cycle. And normally what that does is it puts you in the state of constantly analyzing everything through this veil or through this this kind of filter of negative thinking, and this filter of like, I guess, just separation. But one of the biggest things that you need to see is that the mind and the body are connected, and the spirit is also connected. But the first thing that you need to really work on is the mind and the body, because it's the things that are right here. And so you'll start to see, as you look at your mind more and more, that the experiences that you have and the thoughts and the feelings, they all correlate with physical and mental thoughts and feelings. So your thoughts all correlate with your physical, and then your physical also correlates with your thoughts. So if you want to bring yourself back into alignment, then you need to figure out, first of all, what does it feel like to be in alignment for yourself? Not just like what it feels like for me, but what does it feel like for you? Meaning, like, what does alignment, like, when do you feel the best? What is the times that you feel the best? A lot of people would say that they feel the best while they're on some sort of substance. A lot of people would say that they feel the best when they're watching a movie. A lot of people would say that they feel the best whenever they're with their loved ones, or with their lover, and they're having sex with their lover, and they're merging their consciousness with their lover. There's different things, you know, like different levels also of this kind of like inflowness. If you notice, a good example is like making love, because that's one of the most kind of obvious senses of connection and of being in the flow. And if you notice, in the middle of that act, you're not really thinking about anything at all. All you're thinking about is the feelings of your body, and you're kind of like the melding of your body with the other body, and your mind with the other mind. So the flow, or the universal kind of energy behind that, is showing that there's this sense of unity and this sense of connectedness that can be held on to all of the time with the things around you and with yourself, where you kind of like start to understand that the universe is pushing you in different directions for a reason, and that every single thing that you experience in this lifetime is meant for your growth and for you to kind of move past different things that you may have held on to from past lifetimes, and also other things that you may have kind of developed in this lifetime, which are basically, by things, what I mean is just karmic patterns and different things like that need to be reconciled in order for you to evolve and to graduate into the next octave or density of existence. And through that, you'll actually be able to move past this veil of forgetting and remember all these different lessons that you've learned in different lifetimes. But for now, you can actually do the same thing in a way. It just takes a lot of work, because it's like redirecting your attention, or your energetic attention, to where instead of it being placed only on this existence and this whole kind of like physical, like just only looking at your surroundings and only feeling into yourself, you start to see that you've lived in many different time periods, lifetimes, different things, and you start to see how it's all connected and how it's all kind of like built on top of itself, and then all these different layers are kind of like intertwined with each other. So at any point in time, they could be grasped and kind of like unwound in their own ways, and you can basically like take your point of consciousness and then reassemble it onto a different point, and you can actually move your entire state of existence into a different reality in a way. Now, it's the same reality because it's all one and it's all connected with itself, but it's going to feel completely different to you because you have shifted your viewpoint, or your point of cellular kind of like assemblage into a different direction. And when that happens, you literally start to become a different being. And this is happening with a lot of people now through this great awakening, because people are starting to shift into their higher selves, or their selves with much more wisdom from many lifetimes. And I've seen personally for myself, I've seen a bunch of people that I've talked to, especially in metaphysical shops and things like that, where they feel as though they're not the same being that they were a couple of years ago. And you can feel it, and you can see it, and you know it. And it's very profound, because it's interesting to see how it's happening, not just with me and not just with you, but with a lot of people. Now, there are those people who don't want to wake up or just want to stay asleep, and they will, but they will be recycled back onto another planet after this kind of round, if they don't jump back on the bandwagon of service to others. And what I mean by that is to you basically have to understand that the only way to really evolve, or to level up in this lifetime, is to serve others through basically being a channel to allow this universal love to flow through, and to basically make it quicker for other people to kind of unlock these things in themselves too. And what I mean by a channel for that is to basically become a conduit for this energy to flow through. And you'll kind of notice that even with like specific YouTubers or like specific people or anything like that, like you'll notice that there's almost this kind of like feeling that you get from watching them. And that feeling is the energetic flow that they're allowing to flow through them out of their heart. And then it basically flows through and then out to you. And I try to get that off as much as I possibly can. But that's kind of what it is that attracts people to other people. It's not particularly the words that they say, it's just their energy that they hold. And it's the frequency that they give off to the other people, because that is what really makes a person attractive in a way. It's not, their words, and it's not the physicality of their things. It's the energy that they hold for themselves and that they give off to other people. I kind of went really far off of bringing yourself back into alignment, but all this stuff kind of has to do with that too. And what it means to be in alignment really is just to understand that you and the universe are one thing, and that at any time you can reconnect yourself back with that oneness that is around you at all times. And at any time you could look, say, just at a plant or something like that, and you can feel the stillness in that plant, and then you can actually bring that stillness to yourself. And then you can start to see that behind all of this kind of energy that is presented through this physical form, there's still something that's back there. There's something that's always still, and there's something that's always sitting behind all of this, that is always calm and still, and always watching, observing, and gaining information. To sit in that is to be in the flow. To sit in that observational kind of like just purely objective subject. Very interesting, right? It's like an objective subject. So it's like you're the subject, but in that you're also objective as much as possible. But to sit into that like awareness of unity and love and connection is to be in alignment. And what that feels like is, I would say, an indescribable feeling of love and unity. And a lot of times it brings me to tears of how beautiful it is, because like I said, it's only as beautiful as you allow it to be. So really it's allowing yourself to get to a point where you can you can let go of this kind of identity that you've held on to for your entire life, and then re-identify with somebody who is much more in tune and happy all of the time. And as it seems like it's a hard thing to do, but actually when you start doing it, it feels so much better to just be happy and in line with your mission and your purpose, that it's like after a little bit, it won't take any work, because it's something that you'll just automatically do. And you'll start to more and more quickly be able to pull yourself back into alignment, and you'll start to notice more and more that you are in alignment, and that you'll start to see like synchronicities everywhere, and feel that the universe is starting to work in your favor again. Yeah, I feel like this is getting on a little bit long, but planning on making a couple more today. I just wanted to talk about just being in alignment, because I felt like, you know, I just did Qigong for a little bit, and it kind of brought me back into this sense of alignment, and it felt really good. And I just wanted to, for one, be able to share that kind of energy with you guys, but also to discuss some of the things that I was thinking about, you know. So have a good day, and I hope that this has helped you in some sort of way.